In this tutorial, we will discuss how to set phase melt equilibrium models and how to save the selected parameters into a file so they can be used later on. When we want to select which models will be used for different phases, we need to do this in the top left corner of this form, and that particular component on the form called Models for Phase Melt Equilibrium. When Petrolog starts, it loads the default set of parameters, and that default set defines only a model for one mineral, and that model is Forditel 1983 for olivine, and that will be the view which you will have once you start Petrolog if it starts with the default set of parameters. Now you can see that for all other phases available for modeling in Petrolog, next to the phase name you have press to select written, and what this means that no model is selected, and if we start calculation right now, only one mineral will take part in calculation olivine. If you want to start calculation with other minerals and phases, we need to select the models. So let's click, let's say, on orthopyroxene if we want to include orthopyroxene in our calculations. Here you can see in the current version of Petrolog we have 5 different models available for orthopyroxene which you can choose, and you can also see that there are 3 different columns next to the model names on the form which opens, and the first column with letter P indicates that this model incorporates the effect of pressure on the composition of the mineral and temperature of crystallization if that square is blue. The second column, W, indicates whether this model incorporates the effect of water on the crystallization temperature and the composition of the mineral, and if the square is white, it means that these models do not incorporate the effect of water, and you can see that for orthopyroxene none of them does. And the third column, TR, indicates whether the model incorporates some trace elements in addition to the major elements. If a model does incorporate trace elements, this means that those trace elements will be present in the composition of the mineral if they are defined in the starting composition which we use for modeling crystallization. However, you can see that for orthopyroxene none of the models incorporate trace elements. So 4 out of 5 models incorporate pressure. It means that if you want to calculate crystallization at high pressure, this model will adjust the temperature of crystallization and the composition of the minerals for that pressure of calculation. But if a model like Nielsen and Drake doesn't incorporate pressure, then if you choose this model and you would want to calculate at high pressure, the model will still calculate temperature and the composition of the mineral as if the calculations were done at 1 atmosphere pressure. So let's say we want to select a model, and once we click OK, you can see that that model appears here, and the Y in this column indicates that that model incorporates the effect of pressure as a reminder. Let's select some models for other minerals. Now we've selected models for spinel and pigeonite. Let's select a model for pyroxene, and let's select a model for plagioclase as well. As you can see, currently the pressure is 1 atmosphere, so for us it doesn't matter whether the model is incorporating pressure or not. If we are calculating at 1 atmosphere, then all of those models will work properly. Once we've selected the models we want, we can save the selected set into a file so that we can use it later on in calculations. To do this, we go into the file menu and choose save parameters. And let's say we will call them parameters 1. If it's already existing, it will ask you whether you want to overwrite it. We want to overwrite it this time. And then next time you can load this without having to go through all those individual windows and select the same models. To show you how this works, we can imitate starting Petrolog again. The simplest way to do it is to reset all the parameters to default. So everything we had here is now forgotten. And then if we go and load the parameters from a file, and that would be the file we saved, you can see that all the selected parameters are there. Now if we want to change our mind and let's say exclude the mineral from calculation, so we decided that we do not want pigeonite, for example, to be included in our calculation. To do that, we need to click on the model which is currently selected and then click in this form on remove assigned model and click OK. And now this model is not included in calculations. If we now click start calculations, then pigeonite will not be part of the calculations. This is the end of this tutorial.